how psychics and mediums receive their information is very, very similar. And so it's all about something called clair. There are a few different types of abilities. Okay, so clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairknowing, and clairsentience are the four main types. And those are the ones I'm going to cover off today. You're more likely to hear those terms, or maybe have heard those terms and maybe don't quite know what they mean. It's important as well that you understand exactly what they are and exactly what they mean, because some people use them interchangeably and it's simply inaccurate. So let's go straight into it. So with clairvoyance, what that means is you see clearly. So it means that you can see things from another person. So a psychic is going to pick up on the energy of you, and maybe they're going to see your energy, so your aura. And all depending on the colour of your aura, how big or small it is, if there are any patches in it or broken bits or anything like that, that's going to give that psychic a lot of information about you as a person, about what's happened to you before or about what's coming up for you. So they're going to use that. They might also see images. Now, a psychic is likely to see images in their mind, okay? Or they're going to use a tool to help them to see images. Now, the use of tools is not something that is bad, or is not something that you think that the person is inferior if they use them. So tools are things like tarot cards or oracle cards, pendulums, or crystal balls, tea leaves, palms, whatever it is. However it is that the psychic likes to work. Some mediums will use tools also. But what this gives is it gives a visual. It's a visual thing for that psychic to use to be able to give you the most amount of information that they can. They might see things in their mind. Okay, so that is subjective clairvoyance. It means that they see it in their mind first. Okay, so they might see an image, they might see a word, they might see a color, they might see a symbol. It isn't as straightforward for many as playing out a whole scene in front of them that they can just describe to you. Okay, they might see something like a pin or a particular flower, and it's down to that psychic to interpret that thing. Does it mean the actual thing? Does it mean that, I don't know, maybe you stood on a pin that morning and hurt yourself? Or does it mean that it's a pin on a map? Does it mean, what does it actually mean? Now that is where the psychics joined by a cat. That is where the psychics training and their ability will really come in. So for them to be able to understand these images that they're receiving, what they mean for you and how to interpret those. So for a medium who is clairvoyant, what that means is they're either going to experience subjective or objective clairvoyance. So subjective is them seeing things again in their mind. Now this could mean that they see the spirit person that they are talking to for you in their mind. They might see what they look like in their mind. They might see things about that person, maybe their life, what they did for a living, whatever it is. You know, they might see words. So they might see, I often see words that connect to months. You know, so for birthdays or anniversaries and things like that, then I will see the month. Mediums might also work with symbols, or most will work with symbols. And again, it is down to that medium's experience and their knowledge to interpret that symbol for you accurately. So that's all subjective. That's all going on inside the mind. They're seeing lots of things about your life and about the spirit person that they want to connect with for you in their mind. And then a medium has objective clairvoyance, where they see the spirit person out in the room. Okay, so if me and you were sat together right now having a conversation, you could see me. So a medium who has objective clairvoyance will see a spirit person in the room. So they will see them physically there. They can describe what they look like for you, because it would be like me trying to describe to you my background or whatever it is, because they can see it objectively in the space that they're in. Objective clairvoyance is rarer. It's normally something that a medium will start off with, and then they will sort of develop more subjective clairvoyance. And the reason for that is it's harder for a spirit person to show themselves to you with all the energy it took for them to show themselves to you, and then maintain that energy long enough to have an actual conversation. So lots of things happen on a mental mediumship level in order for you to have the most amount of time with that medium. So that's clairvoyance. Okay, so clairaudience. Clairaudience for a psychic, again, is subjective. So they're going to hear things. They're going to hear things about you. So they might hear certain words connected to you and connected to what is going on with you, maybe what's happening for your future. Again, they might be using tools, so they might have a spread of tarot cards in front of them that they're using to do that reading for you, but they might hear a couple of extra words that really help to direct their focus and help them to give you a message and a reading that is that's something that you can understand, but is also very clear and makes perfect sense. So clairaudience is to hear clearly. Now for a medium, again, clairaudience comes in, it comes in subjective, and it also comes in objective. Okay, so they have both types. So subjective clairaudience for a medium, again, means that they hear things, but it isn't like you hearing me now. It's not this sort of level. It is that you hear things, but you hear things in your mind, which is a hard thing for me to try and explain. And that works the same way for a psychic as well. So they're going to hear something internally. So it's something that only they have heard. Okay, so they might connect to your spirit person and that person might tell them things, but again, it's going to be inside their mind that they hear these words. Mediums also work with objective clairaudience. So that is where they hear things, but they actually hear it happening around them in the physical room. So they're going to hear words in their ear. Maybe there's a spirit person in the room they're talking to and they can hear them talking quite clearly. Or they're going to hear conversations happening in the room around them. So the medium might be connecting in with the energy of the room and hearing sort of the commotion or what would have happened there before, all this sort of stuff, and they're hearing it like it's happening in the room right now. So that is to hear clearly. Then we have clair-knowing. This is the most challenging of the senses, I think, and it is one that probably most people can connect to, and both psychics and mediums use it in exactly the same way. So clair-knowing means that you know something without knowing how you know it. I don't know a better way of explaining it. It's really quite a complicated one for me to try and describe to you. So you just have this overwhelming sensation that you are right and you are absolutely unshakable. This is not stubbornness, and this is not you think you're right. This is you're right. You might have experienced this yourself. Maybe a friend of yours brought you a new partner and you knew in your soul that was a bad person and they were making a bad decision. Obviously you can't tell your friend that they're making a bad decision, and you can't tell your friend that they can't be with that person, but you just know it anyway, and so it's up to you whether or not to say it. Now your psychic and medium will have exactly those same feelings, and they might say that to you, like, I don't know exactly what this means, but I know this is accurate, or I know this is true, and that is their clair-knowing kicking in. They will also use, either psychics or mediums, they will also use something called clairsentience. Now this means to feel clearly. And again, there is subjective and objective. So a psychic works subjectively. So again, this happens internally, okay? It can actually also happen objectively for a psychic. Now what this means is that you are feeling the feelings of the other person, okay? So when you are a psychic and you're making it, or when you see a psychic and they're making a person-to-person connection, they are feeling what you're feeling, okay? So when you arrive, if you're feeling nervous and apprehensive, your psychic's going to know that because you're making them feel nervous and apprehensive too. And they know the difference between their feelings and your feelings. But they will feel all of the same things, okay? So when they go into your past, if you've had a particularly bad past, or maybe you had a bad past experience that you need to work through, they're going to feel what you felt at the time. And likewise then, when they look to your future, if they know that it's going to be something exciting for you, they're going to feel those feelings as well, okay? Not only that, they might have other, as a psychic, they might have other objective feelings. So they might get really hot or really cold around you, just in terms of temperature. Now those temperature fluctuations are going to mean something for the psychic, and that's going to sort of help them to understand exactly what it is that's sort of happening and might be happening around you, okay? You know if a psychic is working clairsentiently, because they will say to you quite a lot, you know, I feel that, I have a feeling of whatever it is. Okay, so you know they're working clairsentiently. Now, a medium also works subjectively and objectively for feelings. Okay, so the medium is going to feel obviously what you are feeling because they are psychic first, but they're also going to be feeling the feelings from the spirit person as well. Now, this could just be that they're going to get this overwhelming feeling of that you're happy that that connection has been made. You normally know when a medium has made a good connection between you and your spirit person because you all feel it in the room. The whole room changes. I normally end up crying. They end up crying. We're all crying. But it's a good thing. It's good feels. So you get this overwhelming feeling. So as the medium, you're going to be picking up on the emotions of the person that you're dealing with. You're going to be picking up on the emotions of the spirit person as well. All of the energy that's changing around you, you pick up on those feelings. But it goes to a bit of a deeper level when you're talking about a medium. Okay, so a medium is also going to be feeling things that the spirit person felt. Okay, so if the person that's in spirit passed with a heart attack, your medium is likely to start having chest pains, tightening of their chest, those types of things. Okay, if the spirit person had anything else. So one of the strangest feelings for me as a medium is connecting in with a spirit person who doesn't have a certain limb that I have. So I have all of my limbs, but when you connect in with a spirit person who doesn't, you can't feel that limb anymore, and it's a very strange feeling when you're not used to it. So if you're connecting to a spirit person who maybe lost their legs, you will feel that you have lost your legs. You won't feel the pain of that, but you will feel the sensation of having no legs. So it's a very, very odd thing. But you're picking up on the feelings of the spirit person. Now, they are brilliant and super powerful because it gives great credibility to the person that you're talking about. Okay, if I can describe to you their feelings, and maybe how they passed, because I'm feeling those things and I can describe it to you in an accurate way, then it's brilliant because it gives you that evidence of who it is I'm talking about. A medium will also feel things like if that person was taller than them, or shorter than them, or bigger than them, or smaller than them, or even things like if they had any type of facial hair or no hair. they will feel all of these things, and they will feel them objectively. So you can feel facial hair sort of on your face. You feel certain things. So all of that all happens objectively. Those are the four main ways that both psychics and mediums work and how they receive their information. So it isn't very straightforward. Now, many psychics and mediums will work with more than one. So they might be getting lots of feelings on top of seeing lots of things as well. And your psychic and medium has to understand exactly what it is that they're getting and interpret that information for you. Readings are all down to interpretation, and the accuracy or inaccuracy of a reading is normally based on misunderstanding of interpretation. And so that's where the experience of the psychic and the medium comes in. But that's how they receive their information. So lots of different ways and lots of different things are happening. So you're sat in front of that person and there's a few cards in front of you and you think that's all that's going on. And believe me, it is not. Your psychic and your medium has a whole world of other experiences and feelings and sounds and voices and all sorts of stuff all going on all at the same time that they're trying to interpret for you. So I hope that was helpful. That is how it all works. That is how they receive their information. I hope you enjoyed this information. If you did and you like this sort of content, please give me a like. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.